Chapter 1: The Little Step. Ever notice the elation of witnessing a baby take his first steps? Ever wondered why it's such an exciting milestone? I'm sure it's not the most fun running after a baby that has now learned to walk on his own and wreaks havoc wherever he goes. That too without needing you to carry him there. So why the celebration? Why the excitement? Why the applause? The firsts are always a big deal because they are more than mere baby steps. They represent the will to stand tall, to be independent, to be self-sufficient. No matter how many times a baby falls, he does not give up. He gets back up over and over again until a time comes when he's sprinting around the house while the parents are questioning the day they decided to have kids. The baby never gives up, and it's his consistent efforts that get him to his goal, the jar of cookies on the kitchen counter. So why is it that adults give up this easy? Being a grown-up, or well, not a baby in this case, comes with its own set of expectations. They aren't just expectations others have from you, but also expectations one has from himself. Every time a child falls, the parent tells him to stand back up. They remind him it's okay to fall, to get hurt, to miss a step. They do not question the baby or doubt his ability to walk. It's easily ignored, and he's buckled up to try again. But does that happen with adults? Not really. Every little failure in our life, just as the child's, is a little fall. It's an experience to learn from, to teach you, to regain your balance, and to find a different way to avoid the hurdles in your path. The world, however, does not make the process any easier. There will always be people questioning your every move, reminding you how you are not cut out for this, losing their trust in you with every fall. As sharp as the criticism might feel, it's fleeting. We need to understand that the only person whose lack of faith in you can be a hindrance in your progress is you. If you trust yourself and persevere, you're gold. Today you see a long-established business, and the first thought that is most likely to cross your mind is, he was born with a silver spoon. And while that isn't a lie, the silver spoon did nothing more than feed me. The growth, however, I worked on myself. I was no different. Just like you, I too was the kid the parents pinned all their hopes on, and being the firstborn did not help my case. As a child, I was mostly left confused. My heart and my mind were in a constant battle. On one side, my parents and family had great expectations from me. With the coveted silver spoon, I had also inherited the responsibility of carrying the hefty family name, and believe me, it weighed me down for years. My mind was always firing ideas. There was so much going on in my head, and I did not know how to contain it. I wasn't the best academically because I didn't have the room to stuff my mind with mundane subjects. I was an explorer. I wanted to wander away and find my own way to success. The only thing that I could focus on and enjoy it all the same was sports. But where would cricket take me? Nobody trusted me or even remotely supported a career in sports. So that was out of the question. I eventually made it through school, and came time to send me off to university. The silver spoon came in handy again. As I was fortunate enough to have the finances to get an education from the US, but was I meeting everyone's expectations? Maybe halfway through. I wasn't going to an Ivy League university like Mr. Rashid's daughter or doing a brain racketing actuarial course like my cousin, nor was I studying to become a doctor like many of the kids in our social circle. I was simply doing an undergrad course in entrepreneurship and innovation, which at that time was very new to those around me. And so people were a little skeptical of my choice. But it felt right. It felt like the program that I could see myself enjoying. So I brushed off the comments and suggestions being poured over me and just took the first step. I applied for the course. Making it through undergrad, especially doing a course that I chose myself, and not because I was pressured into choosing it, was not all that difficult. I was acing one semester after another, even though I had a greater course load than the rest of my batch. Seeing how easy this felt, which was primarily because I was enjoying what I was studying, I decided to do something on the side. I had become too comfortable in my daily routine, and that was slightly alarming for me. I did not enjoy sitting idle and wanted to make some extra bucks, while challenging myself to balance life, work, and studies. I also wanted to be less dependent on my family, so I took up a job at the local club, which now completely changed the ballgame. This job meant I had to study during the day, do assignments, and prep for exams during the few hours in the evenings, and then spend most hours of the night at the club. I was in for a crazy ride, the type of life I enjoyed. And I had braced myself for the inevitable dark circles and increased caffeine consumption. No one in the family to date had taken up odd jobs like I did, and my parents were not too pleased with the decision. Why can't you just focus on your studies? What would people think if they find out you work at a shabby club? How much can it possibly pay you? Are you there to waste our money? Please get a grip over your life and do something worthwhile, which will be of essence for your future. These were some of the many statements made by my family that plagued my mind for these 4 years. But I did not let them bog me down. I knew my family was concerned as any other parents would be, but I also kept reminding myself that no job is beneath us, and I had to keep at it because I'm not a quitter. Guess what? My gutsy move is what helped me establish this business. Bit by bit, I saved up, learned to manage work and studies, and made contacts all the while I was working at the club. The club, while being an odd job, taught me the real value of money. It also taught me to manage several things at the same time. I was finally putting my mind to good use. My observational skills had become sharp as a hawk's eye, and my social skills were through the roof. I was now planning events at the club and bringing in the creme de la creme of the town to the same shabby club. In the process, I learned I'm a killer salesperson. I could sell a rusty old knob to people, and they would have paid me big bucks for it if I asked. By the time university ended, my parents were surprisingly quite proud of what I had achieved. Sure, I was not a cardiologist or a lawyer, and I was not working at some fancy office at Wall Street, but I sure as hell looked like I did. Not once did I leave my house not dressed to impress anyone that crossed paths with me. I wore my confidence on my sleeves, and that made people trust me even more. They knew I knew my work and worth, and could never counter-argue anything I said. And that, my friend, was how I became the Taha Memon you know today. I brought back all my savings, all the experience, all the learnings from my falls, and took my biggest step to date. I started Dawat. There were, of course, teething issues early on. Some events were flawlessly, while some were, well, disasters. I was a one-man army. My own boss, my own marketer, my own inventory manager, my own salesperson, and of course, my own event planner. People have often said to me, it must have been easy since you were your own boss, running your own business at your own pace. But I'd like to disagree. Not only was my own money at stake, but this was tougher than anything I'd ever done before. If an event went badly, I would have to face the music myself. It would reflect badly on my own business and in turn would make me less reliant, decreasing sales. The smallest of mistakes could have catastrophic repercussions and I would be the one at the receiving end of it all. So no, it was not easy. But I took it as a challenge, set my goals, and did not let my confidence dwindle. Over the last 7 years, I've built a team, set up an office, moved to an even better office space, and done thousands of events ranging in scale. And to top it off, I even did my PMP course while doing all of this. I don't know about others, but I'm extremely proud of myself. My journey hasn't been easy, but I've made it till here. Taha Memon and Dawat have now become synonymous with quality events, and not once have I looked back. Had I not taken the first step or gotten back up from my falls, I couldn't have reached where I am today. It's the little steps that cumulatively leave a big impact only if you stay persistent and keep putting one foot in front of another, no matter what. After all, stagnancy never got anyone anywhere. The way is only forward and upwards.